How's it going, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of Dice Checks. Very excited to have you guys back. I'm glad you enjoyed the last episode. Obviously, we're a little different.
I was going to say, this place looks different than my bedroom.
We've been abducted. No, we're bouncing around a couple locations, testing what we like. There's pros and cons for each. This one's a little echoey, for example, so we're going to be testing some stuff out. If you have a preference, let us know. We'll try and see what we can do. The other thing we want to talk about is our publishing schedule. For now, we were originally planning to do a video every other week, but we're going to try and bump that up to every week so you can have a lot more enjoying this.
Emphasis on try.
Yeah. I'm starting another semester of college in a couple of days, so things might get dicey. However, we're going to do our best.
He made a pun.
Yeah, accidentally. But yes, so today's topic, we wanted to hit the books. We're going to be discussing a lot of the major books, plus one little extra for fun. We're going to be discussing ones we have that are upcoming that we are interested in.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess that's it, basically. Let's get into it. All right. So
let's start with this big giant pile of chat right here.
Yeah. I got 4 books with us. I got the main 3 plus Volo's Guide. Volo's Guide we're going to do last because it's definitely not a necessity, but it's fun. Let's start the order of operations. The one that I think is most useful. Player's Handbook. You need this one eventually, and by eventually I mean very, very soon. If not for fledgling DMs, for veteran DMs, but also because this is what the players will need.
Yes.
This has almost everything the players will need and a lot of stuff you'll need. Right off the bat, it has races, such as elf, human. Let's hit one that is not very familiar outside of the circle. Tiefling. Tiefling is a half-demonic character. They're pretty fun. They have a lot of stuff like fire resistance, horns, whatnot. Very fun. Then there's the classes themselves. The classes being Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. There might be a couple extras from recent editions, like I think Mystic is in the works of being a thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was very, very overpowered when I tried it out, but very fun. Check it out.
It is as overpowered as it seems.
Mm-hmm. But it's very fun. A friend of mine, I got a player of mine to beta test it for a one-off I did with some other friends.
Yeah.
He was level 3 Mystic and got hit once. And did a ton of damage, like hitting 60s. Level 3. But
yeah, they're pretty ridiculous.
Very fun class. I obviously have some little tablets right here. These are for my little quick selects to get to the classes.
I mean, that's optional.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that, but it does help.
Yeah, I totally recommend it, though. It's just because, yeah, they're alphabetical classes, but you'll still get lost eventually. For the top here, some other stuff this awesome little book has. Backgrounds is the next thing it has too. Languages and backgrounds. Backgrounds are fun. We'll get... I'd like to one day maybe get somebody who has not had a chance to play D&D, one of our friends, I have several, and make a character with them. So you might see us come back to this.
Yes.
Which would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I have a couple of people in mind. Gotta, check their schedule. Then it has the armors and weapons. I go to this constantly because it also has prices. Pop quiz. How much is a great sword? Exactly. Props if you just commented and paused the video to do that. It's like, bam. I don't even know how much was it off the top? It was 50 gold.
I don't like to throw this term around very often, but whenever it comes to required reading, I wouldn't say this is required reading, but it's definitely recommended reading.
Yeah.
This is like a direct line into how the D&D world
like we touched in the last video, none of these are required, but these will help you so much. In particular, this one.
You can technically play without knowing anything about the books.
Well, it's funny because me and my players share this. We pulled for one of these, so the other players don't have this. Like, we all use this same one.
Yeah, because they're expensive.
In a perfect world, if you don't have as tight as a budget as, say, I do, or my players do, in a perfect world, every player having this would make this amazing. Because then you could just check at your own leisure because of some other things it has coming up. Feats are a big thing. Oh, I love this page. Real quick. Page of all the items, which you couldn't see because of glare. All the items and the prices and also what they do. I love this page.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have feats. Very fun. And then there's the
massive
spells.
Yeah, the massive
the spells.
compendium of spells and other
which you're probably going to be checking a lot.
Dangerous things.
But more importantly, it also has what spells each class can get. Because not every class can get every spell, except for a few exceptions. Like, I think a Lord Bard can steal spells.
Yeah.
Very fun. But yeah, right off the top, Gentle Repose, which is, yeah. Bam. So that's the meat of the Player's Handbook. Highly recommend this. Some great places to get this would be stuff like, what would be a good place, EJ?
I got mine. Like, I got all my books off of Amazon through secondhand sellers.
Yeah.
Be warned, though. Make sure that you know the seller that you're buying from, or like that, or you trust the seller, because I personally went through a lot of pitfalls and tribulations just to get like one of my books, and I went through a secondhand seller that it was cheapest. Like, I bought like each book for like, I don't know, like $18, but the thing is that I only got one of the books, and ironically it's the book that we're about to show here.
Yeah.
So just be forewarned.
Ooh.
You can get them for good prices, but just be careful, friends.
I also would check out a lot of book places. I know for a fact, like Books A Million has these. They're just priced differently.
Yeah, if you want them for like $50 a piece.
Obviously, game shops. Like board game shops, tabletop gaming shops.
If you have those around your area.
Yeah, we're not that lucky. But the next one in order of operations, the Dungeon Master's Guide.
This thing my favorite books ever.
Awesome. Especially if you're new. The newer you are, the more handy this will be.
Yes.
Not saying that it's not handy for anybody else. I use this constantly. But if you have if you're just thrown into this position of D&D without having to look online for tips and tricks, this will help you float. It's awesome.
Plus, look at this cover art.
Yeah.
Just check that out.
Yeah, I didn't want to... We didn't know how much we could show these without getting in trouble, but all these books are filled with amazing art. Just beautiful, beautiful designs. Very good.
If we get a copyright strike, we'll know that's my fault.
I'm saying that a lot. Let's say it for that too. Copyright strike. Very good. But it talks about all kinds of stuff, right? I just turned the page. It's talking about settlement building. Making it so that settlements are realistic. Asking questions like, how big is it? Who lives there? What's it smell sound like?
It even highlights like the types of government too.
Yeah, really that's cool. Coming up. Like right here, look. Populations, governments, currencies.
Like they have...
factions.
They show you what a plutocracy is, an oligarchy, and all that kind of
plot.
stuff.
Look, cataclysmic disaster. Very good stuff. It talks
Lots
about
of random tables.
Planes.
Yes.
The multi-planes and all that. I just turned to Shadowfell. Very fun place that my players just got out of. I apologize for what happened to them. Nothing terrible, but one's currently thinking that the world is out to get him. Shadowfell is very fun. It's a lot of depressive mental stuff and very fun. Then we have...
Sounds like a good old time.
Then it talks about creating adventures, creating NPCs, mysteries, villains, making villains, which I want to touch up individually of how to make a good villain and how to make good NPCs.
Yes.
That's always fun. And guys, everybody will eventually come with a villain they just love. If you already have one, tell us in the comments. I'd love to get some great ideas off of you guys and also just some great stories. So we have that. Oh, downtime. I don't use this enough. This entire area about what happens between the stuff. Because a lot of times when there's no main, like, not to say railroad, but when the players don't have a for sure thing or they haven't quite got the lead I'm setting them up for to find where it gives them a path, they run out of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll just start doing random stuff that they want to do. It's like, well, I got this one, Jacob plays a bard. So he's like, well, it's looking like it's time to have a concert. And he'll have a concert. Not to say that's a problem. That's actually really fun because he actually goes really high and gets a lot of money. But it's talking about, if you want to start bar fights, if you want to work on a particular skill or trade, if you want to just go carousing, which is pretty much just, paint the town red. Very fun. And also very funny if certain situations. We have prices of...
Stranger danger.
We have prices of certain priority objects like gems, paintings, gemstones off the top of my head. Emerald is worth 1,000 gems. Or 1,000 gems. 1,000 gold points. Sorry, guys.
1,000 gems, like Jesus.
Yeah, it's hot and I've been doing a lot of work, so excuse me.
I just woke up.
Yeah, go to school. Alright. Then we have what I use this book a lot for the most is the magic item page. This thing has a ton of already made magic items and also very powerful magical artifacts, which there is a difference, that you can just pull right up from or inspire you to make better ones. I've homebrewed a ton of stuff, but I've used equally amounts of stuff from this.
They got tons of really cool stuff in here, like the
gloves of missile snaring. Gloves of missile snaring let you catch projectiles if you're lucky. All kinds of stuff, and even after this, it gives you a guide on making artifacts and items, sentient and otherwise. Yes, you can have a talking sword.
That's really fun.
Yes, it's very fun when it's an evil sword.
Yes,
like good artifacts and sentient items are very fun, but evil are fun because then it has this voice inside your head thing where you can kind of like just slowly try and corrupt the players. Very fun. Has all kinds of other rewards that you can use besides items and experience and gold, like boons. Right here, boons. Talk about temporary boosts for rewards, buffs. Boon of high magic, you gain a certain spell lock for a certain amount of time. Then it has running the game. This has all kinds of helpful stuff, difficulties, DCs, or what the players need to roll to accomplish something.
One thing I want to touch on really quickly, like before we go any further, is that this book, like you look at all the words and like tiny text on this book, and you're all like I don't have the time to read that. I'm not going to be motivated to read that. Whoever writes these books, you can tell is like a nerd just like you and me.
Yeah, like, these books are made for function.
Yeah.
And they also are pretty artistically designed as well. And these aren't, like I said, they're not required reading, so you can read when you need it.
Yes.
I don't recommend reading it exactly as you need it. I recommend reading it when you think you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Don't read it don't pause the session.
Yeah, what I do is I just treat it like a dictionary, where I'm all like, okay, like what happens if you're on a if you're mounted and you get knocked off, do you okay, let me look that up real quick.
And I actually want to amend what I said. I actually do constantly look at the player's handbook during sessions, constantly for spells, for prices, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
But if it's big stuff that you can't quick find, coming up with a plot hook that you need all of a sudden, I recommend trying to do that before time. Another thing I'd like to do in the future is have a session on game plans right beforehand, pre-planning.
Yes.
That'd be awesome because everybody preps differently.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun to touch on. What else we got?
Although, come to find out, me and you, prep, kind of the same way.
Well, yeah, but that's because we're also known each other for so long. We're secretly twins that aren't twins.
Yeah.
Milestone leveling, instead of, it has right here the XP charts, but milestone leveling is something I really want to get into.
Yeah. Because
my players, sad to say, can't always keep up with the XP. People forget, and I'm guilty of this too.
I am terrible at keeping track of XP.
Keeping numbers can be tricky, especially for when we started, because we were all new players, so we didn't know exactly where to keep up everything.
Yes.
So stuff got lost. It's better now. We don't have that problem anymore. But I always liked milestone leveling because I feel that's more realistic than XP. Because milestone leveling works where you level up when you accomplish something as a character.
Yeah, whenever you defeated this horrible dictator over the land.
Yeah, you beat your rival.
Hey, guess what? You're up to level 10 or whatever.
Which also works as that could be the reward for a quest is a level.
Yeah.
So I love milestone leveling and I want to incorporate it as fast as I can.
It's a much simpler way of doing things.
But really and truthfully, as the DM, you could try to just be okay, you leveled up, and don't keep XP or milestone. Mm-hmm. That's your right, but you got to be careful because if you do it weirdly, it's going to feel like you're too much in control, and the players like being in control of where they're leveling up. Because if I miss, there's been days where they didn't get the amount of XP they did last session and didn't realize it because they were in a hurry writing it down. They're like, I feel like I would level up by now. It's no, you're close though. Probably next session. But it's just true. This is a big one. The Dungeon Master's Workshop. This is where you do all your finagling of all the stuff, creating custom monsters, creating custom abilities, custom everything, custom weapons. It even has a section for futuristic weapons. So that's always fun. Basically, this book is great for learning the basics, but also for finding the stuff and making the stuff easier for you guys. If you have a hard time eyeballing what you need to do for DC's charts, experience, and all that, this has all that. It's so nice.
Yeah.
And then we have the one thing the players use for this for me is the... well, actually, no, it's also in there, so never mind that. This also has an appendix for monsters of where to find them specifically. Oh, no! I did the thing. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, that's really cool. It even tells you like how much experience there were.
Pardon me. I just did a...
It's very hot in here.
Yeah. Not only that, but I just did the joke.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, for example, it has a list for mountain monsters. It has all the list of monsters that are living in the mountains. And some nice little art. And some appendixes. And some map ideas. I wouldn't use these right as they are, because I'd have to probably scan them first and get them to size. But these are great for thinking. And this is actually, for example, a good map for showing an idea of a town setup.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Moving on. So that's 2 of the 4 we got. All right, this one you can get away with out having for a while. I got away with it for about 2 months without getting this book, but having this makes it so much easier.
It really is
Dungeon
amazing.
Monster Manual. This thing is just literally a list of baddies. From cover to cover, it has the lore behind the baddies, the stats, everything you need about a monster.
You can even look up what a nilbog is.
That's not in this one.
Oh, it's not in this one?
That's in the next one.
Well,
yeah.
I tried.
Not everything is in this book because this came out early, and since then they've added, as he said, which we'll get into in a minute. But it has the majority. Like, this is a lot of meat, guys. I haven't even used a 100th of these monsters. There are something like, and I'm looking at the contents here. Yeah, there's 315 pages worth of monsters.
There's like so many like really cool like creatures in this book to where I personally have built entire encounters like just around like a single creature in this. And you've seen like if you people out there watch Critical Role, you've seen like how in certain encounters like it's all built around like this one creature. The Rakshasa or a grand white dragon or whatever have you. Yeah. Rakshasas are cool.
Yes. But the good thing is with this thing you're pretty much guaranteed for a very long time, if not indefinitely, to never run out of monster ideas.
Like even like whenever you're not into like even whenever like you've fallen out of D&D and you just want to take a break from it, just having this around is really cool. Yeah,
this is actually some really cool stuff. The lore for a lot of these monsters are just really in-depth and interesting. Even dragons, like you expect you know all you can about dragons.
Yeah. But
then you learn that in this particular game and setting for D&D.
Oh yeah.
The dragon color mean different things.
Yeah, there's the chromatics, there's the
colors. And then colors is in red,
the crystal dragons and stuff like
metallics.
that. Yeah, there's tons of dragons.
Yeah, like a
game called Dungeons and Dragons that has a lot of dragons.
Ooh, I don't want to match the wrong color to the wrong lore, so I'm going to stay with metallics because I know those slightly better. The gold dragons are pretty cool because they actually tend to be kind of introverted. They typically don't go out of their way to do things. Like one of the other metallic dragons, which I can't say it off the top of my head without fact checking. They're very into it. They seek people out, whereas this one lets people come to them. And that's really neat, and that sets up some really interesting ideas for situations that you can run. All right, now this one is not necessary, but I totally recommend it.
I have not looked through this book at all.
Volo's Guide to Monsters. This is a supplement that was released, I think, a year and a half ago.
It's not a very old book.
No, it's not. But it's so fun. It's almost pure lore in a lot of places. It adds a ton of new meat and a ton of new reskinning and all that to a lot of very popular monsters like hobgoblins, mind flayers. And it's really fun, but it also adds a lot for the players.
It's much thinner than the other books.
Yeah. Well,
So would you say that this book is worth like, I don't know how much it is on Amazon,
totally.
like $23?
Totally. Well, it depends. It's worth it if you want it. If you don't want it,
that sort of thing,
then don't get it. But if you want it, it's totally worth the price. I love this because I love reading lore. I enjoy reading books.
Oh yeah, we're both lore hogs.
Mm-hmm. So the amount of lore this has is awesome. It has player races that are previously not in these, like the Tabaxi, which is cat people. Skyrim fans think of the Khajiit, pretty much. And it has new monsters, like the Neobog, for example, which, yeah, Neobog. Neobogs are fun. And those are the books I have with us currently. There's tons of other books you can get. You can get modules like Storm King's Thunder.
Tales from the Yawning Portal.
Mm-hmm. Or upcomingly Tomb of Annihilation, which I will be getting. I have amazing plans for that particular module because my ideas for my next plot and my next ideas for my next campaign fit very well with the module. Which
you may have seen a review of that. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice actually, but I'm very excited for Tomb of Annihilation. Sorry, players. Oh boy. So
anyway,
any further comments you want to talk about any of these? Because I know he hasn't got a chance to really get into all of these because somebody misplaced his books.
Yeah.
But they're still fun. Which one do you like the most?
Personally, I will say, like, I'm a little bit biased because I just love monsters, but I really enjoy the Dungeon Master's Guide just because that's the only one I own, so it's the one I read the most. But honestly, though, like a close second would be both Volos and the Monster Manual.
Yeah,
just because I love monsters.
Volos, but I got to give Players is my favorite just because of how useful it is. Now, these things do cost a lot, and you get bundles to save money and whatnot. But there is another option, especially if you're very digital in your using, like particular apps. One of my favorite apps that I use constantly, sometimes more than these books, is the app by the name of Fight Club 5e. Fight Club 5 is very good because not only is it just very solid in its setup, makeup, and workings, but it has a big spotlight on it because I know that Critical Role, Matt Mercer, uses it constantly. So the fan base for him and him himself have been going through to make sure everything's legit and up to code. And
it is very cool.
And it's free! Not to mention,
better than D&D
it's
Beyond.
Upgradable in the state. Like, you can actually purchase it for, like, I think the premium version. It gives you some extra bonuses. But also, you can get more content because it allows you to download content from the internet. Reddit has a particular thing. I can't think at the top of my head where to get it on Reddit. But you can download pretty much everything from the Elemental Evil and Unearthed Arcana. You can download that into the app. But it has all kinds of things. It has spells, it has monsters, it has everything I've talked about in the Player's Handbook. Almost everything I've talked about in the Dungeon Master's Guide, minus the plot helping and whatnot. It has a way to bookmark things. You can create your own content to add to it. Totally recommend it. If you want these books or not, check out Fight Club 5. Not sponsored. Big fan, though.
I will say that if you do choose to go the route of the books, though, it can get it can get kind of pricey. I'm not gonna kid you, because if it's one thing that we don't do on this channel, it's make jokes. But honestly, all seriousness here, I bought like all 4 of these books off of Amazon from a secondhand seller. Granted, it didn't work out too well, but you can do that. I may have paid probably no more than $20, no more than $25 on each book. Costs about around $100. I mean, more than what you would pay for for books. But whenever you consider the amount of content that you get out of these books, now I only recommend buying all these books to the people that are serious about getting into D&D because if you're only kind of I like D&D, but I'm gonna buy the books anyway.
Well, there's other options than just you having to pay for all this. where there's bundles, for example, that you get a discounts. Me and my players split the bill. Yes. I didn't pay for all this. Luckily, thank God. But I found a bundle. I think I paid for the first 3 major books, I think for like $70 for all 3 of them. And we split that among I think at the time I had like 6 players. Which equal to, I think, like maybe $8 each, something like that. I'm very not good at math right now. And I also am going off of a year ago when this happened, so my numbers might not be correct.
It's very hot in here.
I got a haircut. But, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to pay all these, you can find other ways. You can always split it with your players. Usually a good group of people are more than willing to make that because that means they actually have this to use.
Plus, you can buy the PDFs.
Yeah, and there's actually a free version of the player handbook that has all the bare bone necessities.
Oh yeah,
I forget the name of it.
It's the same thing that's in the D&D Quick Start box thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't have everything in the player's handbook. Like it doesn't have some of the subclasses and I think that like the cleric domains, but it's enough to get you started.
Yeah,
and it's definitely enough to let you try and test the waters.
It's the big picture without the details.
Yeah,
basically.
So check that out if you're hesitant, like you're still on the fence if you want to get into D&D, check that out. If you know you're going to like D&D, probably get the books.
But just know that that getting these books is not the cheapest.
No.
But
there's ways to make it work.
It is worth it.
Yeah. Would you recommend getting them?
I would most certainly recommend them to the fan that's serious about getting into D&D.
Okay.
That's
yeah. Well, we wanted to hit the books for this episode, and I feel like we did pretty good with that. So I think we're safe to call it. What do you think?
Yeah, we are right at where we need to be.
Perfect.
So, just a quick thing, like before we go here, the location is subject to change. Mm-hmm. It might change, it might not. Yeah. We're currently in the process of getting newer, better equipment.
So totally freak out, cause fires, cause riots. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure somebody will.
Yeah. No, things are going to be changing a little bit. We're testing the waters. We're still trying to find these perfect things in places, but we're going to have fun with it, guys, and we hope that we can have fun with you guys on the ride too. But until next time, we'll see you then. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed these videos. As always, I'm a big advocate of comments. If you in particular want to challenge us, ask questions, open discussions, I fixed up my YouTube channel, my little spot, so I can now comment to you guys. So if you have anything, by all means, let me know. I'll be Zen Arrows on my YouTube channel name. Hook me. If you see me in comments, definitely. If I see you in comments, I might call you guys out on certain things that I want to discuss. I love talking, as you can tell. I haven't shut up yet.
Yeah. This man loves to talk, man.
I'm a communications major. That's my job eventually.
He went to college. Anyway. Quick thing that I want to discuss. But the art for this channel was designed by Puddle on YouTube. Go ahead and check her out.
I haven't seen it yet because he's the one who's been doing all that. But I'm very excited, and thank you so much for putting the work in for that.
Yes, you're awesome.
But until next time, have a day by me, and Morvar, take us home.
Peace out.